Hi. Sorry for the delay. My name is Steve Gravestock. I'm a senior programmer at the Toronto International Film Festival. It's my great pleasure to welcome you to the film festival and to this screening, the world premiere of Don McKellar's Through Black Spruce. To begin, we'd like to acknowledge that tonight's event is taking place in the treaty territory of the Mississaugas of New Credit and the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee, the Anishinaabe, and the Huron-Wendat. We are grateful to have the opportunity to work in the community. This film is eligible for the Canada Goose Award for Best Canadian Feature Film and the Gross People's Choice Award, so please remember to vote. Vote for your favorite films at tiff.net/vote. We'd like to thank D Films Corporation, Serendipity Point Films, and Distant Horizon for providing us with the movie. Now it is my enormous pleasure to introduce the producer of the film. Many people will know her best as an actress, but as this film shows, she's an equally gifted producer. Please join me in welcoming Tina Keeper.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Steve. Thank you all. Getchimigwech. I would like to thank you all, welcome you all to this screening. I would like to acknowledge that we're on the traditional territory of the Mississaugas of the New Credit and the Anishinaabe. I'm very proud to be here tonight, and I'm so grateful that you've joined us. I'm going to invite to the stage a woman who is a dear friend, a greatly respected woman. Her name is Dr. Marlon Cook, and she is from Grand Rapids, Manitoba. She's Cree, and she made this film possible by loaning my company money, giving my company money to option the novel. And she is a dear friend, and she is a traditional healer and also a Western medical practitioner. She's going to do our opening prayer, so please welcome Dr. Marlon Cook.
Tansi, Benezu Squaredis Nikason, Pascus Mustastatem. I give thanks to Creator for this beautiful day and for this evening. And I give thanks for my beautiful friend Tina. And I pray to Creator that a lot of good will come from this movie. And I know there's been a lot of controversy, and I've spent time praying about it. And one of the teachings that I've been given is that Creator made 4 races of man: the white race, the yellow race, the black race, and the red race. And he gave the different races different gifts and different things to look after. And he gave the white race the gift of mind, and he gave them fire to look after. And he gave the yellow race the gift of emotion and gave them air to look after. He gave the black race the gift of physical, and he gave them water to look after. And he gave us, the red race, the gift of earth, the gift of spirit, and he gave us earth to look after. So that's why we always talk about taking care of Mother Earth. And one of the other teachings I was given was that the indigenous people will be the one to help protect Mother Earth and to prevent all the destruction that is happening to her. But I was also told by an old medicine man in the 80s that a lot of people will decide to leave during this difficult time as the earth suffers more and more. But Creator will send us a lot of red-spirited people in non-indigenous bodies, in Caucasian bodies, yellow bodies, and black bodies, and that these red spiritual people are here to help us. And I do believe that Joseph Bowden is one of those red-spirited people. And I'm so grateful that he's here and I'm so grateful that he's written the beautiful books that he's written and that we're able to make this movie. I thank Creator. I thank Creator for all of you, and for all your families, and for all humankind on Mother Earth. And I hope and pray every day that the four races of man, white, yellow, black, and red, will come together and live here on earth in peace and harmony. And that is my prayer for tonight, that that happen. And I pray for all our families, and miigwech, kinanaskomitin, egosinan.
I don't know, but I wonder if we should take this smudge and move it. I'll grab it. I can grab it. No, you stay on stage, but I'm wondering if we should take this. Yes? Okay. Agasani, thank you, Marlon Cook. And I would like to also introduce a special speaker that we have been, I'm honored to have her join us this evening. Our film is a film that we approached in a manner in which we wanted to tell the story of a family from a region in Canada, which my late mother was from. So my mother's side, I'm from the Treaty 9 territory, and I actually have one of my cousins here in the house. I'm so proud to have seen him outside. And that was a blessing for me to see him before I came in here tonight. So the Treaty 9 territory is where my mother's from. And my mother was of the first generation of children to be removed, literally removed from their communities. So my grandparents and my extended family didn't have that experience. They did, however, lose their children. So the profundity of the separation, I don't know if it's been really, it's so hard to articulate, and it's very much a part of this story. And so I was really grateful when I read this story, because not only is it about, the traumas that we experience, due to colonial impacts and legislation policies, and a great, great effort to remove us from our land and from our languages and our cultures. And those impacts live with us today, but the resilience also lives with us. And one of the people that I'm so proud that is joining us here tonight is a woman named Dr. Beverly Jacobs. She's Haudenosaunee. She is a professor of law at the University of Windsor. She just defended her PhD. She's got a master's in law, and she's the woman who in 2004 was the lead researcher on a report called Stolen Sisters. And it was prepared for the Native Women's Association of Canada and Amnesty International. And Bev Jacob then subsequently became the president of the Native Women's Association of Canada and led this voice about the stories of murdered and missing Indigenous women and girls in this country. And we now know that there is a national inquiry, and it has become part of the mainstream, media knowledge. But without Bev, whose efforts were truly to address a human rights violation in many systems and the impacts of that on the families, is here with us tonight. And so I'm very, very honored to have Dr. Bev Jacobs join us this evening.
Scano, Sokego, Giaso, Gawenku, say, Gayanga Haga, Nyakoi, shout the Haudenosaunee. Greetings of peace to all of you. I told you my real name, my Mohawk Bear Clan name, which is Gowenkyuse, and it means she's visiting. I'm very honored, and thank you to my sister, my Cree sister, Tina, for bringing attention in a way that will bring attention in a medium that will highlight an issue that every single person should know, and that every single person should care. So when I started on this journey, I met with the women from the downtown east side in Vancouver, and the elders and the families who had been shouting out loudly, and nobody was listening. The police weren't listening. Communities weren't listening. And so it was really a very emotional moment in time to meet those families and the activists who were trying to bring attention 30 years ago of the missing and murdered Indigenous women. And through that journey, meeting with families who are in trauma and have so much, also so much resiliency to be able to survive those traumas, and now to be on the front line. Now there are the activists. They are the ones who are speaking out loud and leading in many different places, and still trying to get attention, because not everybody yet knows how serious this is, and that we're in a very critical time. And because Indigenous women are still being targeted and still being attacked, we have not lived in a safe place. And that's what we're asking for those families and for those women, those Indigenous women, us as Indigenous women who have been targeted and are targeted because we're Indigenous women. And so it is very emotional for me to be here and to know that this medium will go internationally, and to get the attention that is deserved for the families of missing and murdered Indigenous women, and that we need everybody to support them and their communities and where they come from. So thank you, Nyawa, very much.
Kinanaskamatin, Beverly. I'd like to say that one of the elements of the story is about the setting and about Moosonee, the story being set in Moosonee in northern Canada. And I'm originally from northern Canada. I had the great honor to serve riding in Manitoba, which had 35 First Nations in it, 19 remote communities that were actually isolated communities, flying communities. And many of the communities were living with this. And one of the greatest barriers that they were facing was access to justice, access to legal resources, access to policing systems. So we really were honored to work with the town of Moosonee, the people of Moosonee, the community of Moose Cree First Nation, the chief and council, the deputy chief. They were so embracing, and we are so honored to be in their communities. We also had with us language specialists from the communities for the particular dialect of Cree, and we had cultural advisors. And so in that regard too, we saw the resilience of the people and the strength of the families and the love. So this film is really about the resilience and the love of a family and how that enables us to move forward and do the work that we do. We are grateful for that. And we are grateful for our collaborators and our allies. Hi, Sunny. I would now like to introduce to you the author of Through Black Spruce, Joseph Boyden. He won a Giller Prize for Through Black Spruce in 2007. And he was with us on this journey. He is a Métis author, Joseph Boyden. Oh, okay. So, okay, what? I will now introduce our screenwriter. I cannot say enough about this woman. She wrote, it took us a long time to get into development, and she is a woman that I love and adore. I trust her implicitly. And this relationship that we have goes back to 1992, and she is a co-creator of North of 60. And so we went through a lot. We went through many years of learning how to work together, how to work in partnership, and we made that happen. And we now have a friendship, and she is truly somebody that I respect and admire. And she wrote the adaptation for Through Black Spruce. Please help me welcome Barbara Samuels. Okay, now I will introduce a man who, again, I know since '92, and he is the one who brought North of 60 into production, and it was very forward-thinking. I have to say that that experience enriched so many lives, and I have to say that it was an absolute honor for me to be able to work with him, for him to pick up this film and want to produce it, Robert Lantos, and he supported this project and supported the team, and he made this happen in a really fine collaboration.
Okay, I know that you came to see a movie, so I'll do my best to get on with it. I would like to thank Tina for allowing me to collaborate on this film. It was my honor to be asked. And I would like to also thank the executive producers who are in the audience, each one of whom had a pivotal role to play in getting this film made at different stages of its life. Mark Musselman, my son, Ari Lantos, Phyllis Lang, and co-producer Steve Solomos. Thank you for all of you. And I'd like to say a special thank you to a dear friend who is a distinguished producer in his own right, has made films, Oscar-nominated films like Mandela, Long Walk to Freedom, and who he lives in South Africa and has been involved in social causes. There's a close friend of Nelson Mandela's, and who, when we sort of faced this little issue on this film that our budget was here and our financing was here, they didn't quite match, he's the one who stepped up, took a personal risk and helped make it all happen. From Durban, South Africa, Anand Singh. Back to you, Tina.
Yes. I also would like to acknowledge the executive producer, my partner in business, Phyllis Lang. I am now going to acknowledge and thank the investors. We have Telefilm, the Northern Ontario Heritage Fund Corporation, CBC, Bell Media, Ontario Creates, Harold Greenberg Fund, and D Films. Thank you so much for your investment. I would like to acknowledge our cinematographer, Douglas Cott. Douglas is here somewhere. There he is. Oh my goodness. He made us go morning to night in Moosonee. It was an amazing opportunity to work with you, Douglas. Ian Hall, our production designer. Another adventure we had. Thank you. And I'd like to also introduce you to Lindsay Alakas. She is our editor. And now I'm going to invite our composer to the stage. She is a renowned Canadian artist. Her name is Laska B, and she was our composer on Through Black Spruce. And finally, you all know him, and I'm sure you all love him. We love him, and he just was phenomenal to work with. A brilliant man, a brilliant artist. Please welcome Don McKellar, our director.
I don't know, I got the shortest introduction of the night, I feel, but it's all right. Thank you very much. Yes, I have a big, long white beard now. At the start of this film, I was clean-shaven and fresh-faced, but it was an arduous journey, but a very, very satisfying one, I must say. You've heard the word collaboration tonight, and this project was presented to me as a chance for two nations to collaborate, to tell a story we thought was important, and show some places we thought were important, some people we hadn't seen on the screen before, and that was that spirit of collaboration continued through the film in every aspect. Of course, you can't collaborate by yourself. I've tried before, and you just feel dirty after. Fortunately, though, when we set the table, so many people, this team of ready and able and extremely generous people came rushing forward, and it really was one of the most satisfying working experiences that I ever had. And so I want to thank Tina for that, everyone she thanked, everyone on the stage, everyone in the audience that is involved. There are other people here, by the way, that are involved in the film. And in particular, the cast, who I adore. And I've worked with a lot of great actors before, and I didn't adore them all. Even the very good actors are not always adorable. And so I would tell you freely if it was not the case, but these actors, I've never experienced anything like it, the way they presented, they offered their skills and their talent and their hearts and their spirits. And every day I came back from the set just grateful and amazed, actually. But, you know, having said that, it just occurs to me that a speech like that is better addressed to the people who can actually hear it. And they're not even hearing it, because you can't hear anything in the wings. So I should bring them out here. Please. There's a lot of them, actually, but you're going to enjoy it. Keenan Grom. Here he is, Keenan Grom. This is his first movie. It's his first movie. But unfortunately, because of his innate talent, now he must face the prospect of a career as an actor. And it's a hard fate for a young man. He's from Moosonee. He's repping a number of actors, quite a few actors from the film from Moosonee. I don't know if you knew that, but Keenan, you were representing all of those people. And may I just say, as Tina said, Moosonee is a place I recommend you all go, especially people from Ontario. Go up there, stay at Tony's guest house, see some seals and whales. Who knew that was even possible in our province? And the people up there were so generous, and so welcoming for nothing except a couple of plugs from the stage, apparently. So I want to thank everyone from Moosonee. Now I have to continue because I've spent a lot of time talking about Moosonee. And so I'm going to be shorter with the other introductions. Who is next out there? Joey Klein, the multi-talented Joey Klein. No, not you yet. Parveen Kaur, the spectacular, the irrepressible Roseanne Superno. I'm running out of adjectives. The relatively tall Wesley French, pretty tall. Come forward. Okay, this next guy is a legend of the North. He was the former chief in Fort Albany. He's this reservoir of traditional knowledge. He's an author of 3 amazing, or at least, I don't know how many books. Up Ghost Rivers, devastating book. He on paper, he looked perfect for the part in this film. But I said to Tina, we have to audition him anyway. And so he taped himself, sent it down from Fort Albany, and damn if he couldn't act too. And he just was so natural on set, as if it never occurred to him that anyone might have any difficulty with it. Ed Matadawabin. To play his wife in the film, we had a hard time, and because it's an important role, even though it's small. And I said, the name Tina mentioned Tantoo Cardinal, and I said, oh, of course she'd be perfect, but she would never do this. It's such a small role. And she said, well, I'll give her a call. You know, she doesn't have a chance to speak her language much, so on screen. And that is one of the advantages of having Tina keep her as a producer, because she accepted the role, Tantoo Cardinal. A legend. Great. This next guy, you know, I don't know why does the Indigenous community produce so many great actors? We don't know. There's probably some thesis out there being written about that. But I mean, it was a fact that occurred to me in the 80s sometime when there seemed to be this sudden burgeoning of native talent, like Native Earth, Thompson Highway, and this guy who was already a legend when I had my first job down at Pass Marai. And I always wanted to work with him. And I told him this first time I met him, and practically every day on the set, and he always rolled his eye and said it was bullshit. So I hope he believes me when I say it in front of all you. Really, it's not an exaggeration to say that one of the reasons I wanted to do this movie was to work with this guy. So if you have a problem with that, blame Graham Greene. Truly. One of the finest actors this land has produced. Now, who's there? Kiowa? Gordon? Are you there? Next. Come out! Kiowa Gordon! The very dashing. When I was talking about the generosity of the actors, it's you now, right? It's hard to, okay, I'm hurrying. I'm going as fast as I can. I must say a couple of words, though, because this guy gave so much. I've never ever experienced this kind of generosity in an actor, and I'm actually getting very moved thinking about it and talking about it now, because I just adore this guy, and his name is Brendan Oakes, my friend. As you see, he put all of himself in this film, as you are going to see. This last person, is correct, this is the last person. All right. The bear, by the way, Bonkers the bear, couldn't come tonight. He had a prior engagement with a fish, and couldn't come. But we do have someone I think you're going to be amazed by tonight. A really hard part to cast, and I've said that when I read this script, I thought, who can we find someone to play this part, or this these parts, because as you can see, it's an enormous amount of range. And then when she came in auditioned, I said, okay, we have a movie, and it's Tanaya Beatty. And that is the end of the introductions. Thank you, festival. Thank all of these people. Miigwech.